still life isn't somebody who's really boring. A still life is not someone who's scared of a snake. A still life is not a busker you see on one of those strip malls. A still life is a painting or drawing of an arrangement of objects, usually including fruit and flowers, and objects which might contrast with these textures, such as bowls or glassware. Vanitas is a style of still life painting that is taken from the Latin term vanus, which means empty. This type of still life was very common in medieval art and contains symbols of change as a reminder of our own humanity. Today we're going to create our own still life Vanitas collage. First off, find 3 objects which you consider to be representative of your past, your present, and the future. For my own Vanitas collage, I'm going to use a statue of the Pope for the past because I bought it a few years ago in Naples. I'm going to use a respiratory mask for the present. I'm also going to use a cutting from a plant to give us hope for the future. Today we're going to create a still life Vanitas collage using a pizza box, an Uber Eats delivery bag, and butcher paper. You're first going to have to prepare your Uber bag and butcher paper to appropriate sizes by cutting them using some scissors. Next, using your pizza box as your canvas or frame, begin defining the shapes and the relationship between one object and the others. These defining lines will become an important registration point after you've created your other layers of collage. Once you have the shapes rendered on the pizza box, use the Uber bag paper stuck over the top of the drawing to lift and render the outline. Try and do the same thing with the butcher paper. Now, once you have the shapes defined, you can go in and render any detail that you might find necessary. If you like, choose coloured pencil to render your objects further. Select a mid-tone, a darker tone, and a highlight like white. I'm going to begin using the darkest tone first. Then the mid-tone, then the highlight. For the other object, select another 3 appropriate tones of colour for the highlights, the mid-tones, and the darker tones. Next up, the mid-tones.
And finally, the highlights. Next, using another piece of paper, go through the same process of tracing and rendering again with the third object. After having rendered the general shape and form of the object, start with your darkest tone. Then add in your mid-tones and finally the highlights using a white. Now you have the 3 Vanitas objects rendered, cut them out using a pair of scissors. Once you've cut out the 3 rendered objects for your Vanitas, you can then stick them down onto your pizza box using the guides that you created earlier. To create more definition and continuity within your image, you can go around the 3 objects using a fine liner or a dark pencil.
When you have finished your Vanitas collage, you may want to create a standing frame with your pizza box by cutting a strip out of the middle from the back of the inside. You fold that forward and stick it to the inside of your pizza box, and that creates your standing frame. Here's the standing frame itself. You'll notice it's just in here like so.
You can take part in more fun educational activities by visiting the MPRG website and clicking on the Learn tab. You can visit me, Jerome Rush Artist, on Instagram or Facebook.